Here we are once again in Oolitic, Indiana. Happy day after Thanksgiving to you. Happy when you see this, when it's posted anyway. Happy 2 days after Thanksgiving. 3 days? Yes, 3. Yeah. Don't ask me about math, and yet here I'm about to show you a bunch of numbers. This is my property. Yes, it looks a little bleak, but the shed is on its way in a few days after seeing today the guys who are maybe going to come and prep the land. If you see, I'll try to show you again. See, the rise here is going to get leveled out about halfway between the rise and the flat down here. It's going to get leveled out basically probably to the height of this stone, although we're going to try to actually pull these up so I can use them as yard decorations. These old foundation stones that are almost certainly cast-offs from the Oolitic quarry up the road. That means they've probably been here for 115 at least, maybe 120 years or more. And I just would kind of like to keep them in place. So what I've done is the whole lot is like 50 by 77. It's not an actual square, but that's roughly the idea. And they wanted me to do offsets of at least 8 feet. And so here is the outside property stake. And I went in 10 feet here. You can see that. 10 feet. So this is going to be the corner of the, I'm saying Lord willing, this is going to be the corner of the, not the building, but the wood framing, inside which is going to be about 5 inches or 6 inches of gravel. And so we're planning on 4 by 6 treated lumber, pressure treated lumber, to make the frame of not 50 by 40 as I had requested on the building permit, but 40 by 15. And that means basically I don't have to spend that much to get a good spot for this, to have a spot for the shed and a place to store one of the trailers that I have. So the 15 goes back to what I think was or still is an old septic tank area. 15 feet from that corner back down the hill is basically this line of stones. That's where the house used to set. And man, can you see that? How much drop off there is there? that this was where the house frame sat, and this was where the house frame sat, and it just occurs to me that's at least 2 feet lower. So the pilings that they had, it was remarkable. Actually, I've got some pictures I should pull out, show some old pictures of the house and also tearing down the house. A guy almost got crushed. It was a little scary for a couple minutes. Anyway, this is evidently going to be the outside. 40 feet in, essentially, give or take a few inches, 40 feet in is this line of stones right here. So this is 40 feet from that back corner right there. And this is 15 feet to that stone, and that stone is basically 10 feet off the alley. And I didn't know what I could do with this concrete. This is actually a beautiful, beautiful slab of limestone underneath. It's massive. I didn't know what I could do with this, but the guys told me today that this actually can become fill down in the area there. They can move this initially as part of the leveling out, and so this is actually going to be some inside the gravel, under the gravel. And boy, wouldn't it be cool if I could get this slab and set it up on something and make a outdoor table with it. Just had that idea, love it. And this is these other slabs here. I want to try to repurpose all of this stuff. Like I said, this thing looks grim, but I've had it for grief. Yeah, 7 years, basically this month. 7 years, and it looks like maybe I'm actually going to get some use out of it now. We're going to clear out the scrub here, and either this apple tree can be trimmed back to where it could be productive, or it just needs to go. It may be too far gone. Another tree has fallen over mostly, and yet it still leaves out, so it may just need to go. But there might be a way to turn this into a little garden-y type area or something, landscapey area. Hey, check one more thing here before I show you the little project I'm going to try to do after I went to the family Thanksgiving dinner, and I'm going to actually try to work. Yeah, okay. It has something to do with this shovel. I'll be right back. With the leaves down, it's easier to see. This is also part of the property that I own. It goes about 200 feet that way. There's a little ravine, kind of a runoff gully, and it goes out to the street and down about 100 or more feet along the road down to the river. And I don't know if I can get a shot of the water today. I have to go down there sometime and get a shot. But basically, right over that hill there, right down that ravine, that is runoff from Lake Monroe. I have a feeling there might be some catfish in there. I've got some friends who want to see if they can find out. Here also is some scrap limestone that's been used as embankment. But some of these loose ones on top are things that I also think I can repurpose over with the shed. And now back to our regularly scheduled programming. Here is the opposite corner from the one I started at, and that is, I got that at basically 60 feet there, and up to, I went 30 feet up the hill to basically the water main. And I am going to try to get water and electricity. I'm going to try to get water and electricity pretty quick. But here's what's interesting is they put these trees in here, and yet that was not the edge of the property. In fact, from what I understand, this is actually the corner, based on what they the city inspector put in, that goes over. It's hard to see, but there's the other stake. That's on the other end. But here, I believe, almost certainly, there's a stone here that I think is a marker stone. So, give or take, this may be the line right here. This may be the line there. But it's kind of interesting. Seems it's going to end up being kind of wasted stuff. So I'm thinking about what I might do, and I would be very interested if anybody has any ideas for what I could do, especially if, like I say, I clear the scrub out of this, and this could be a nice shade area if I do it right. And the wind comes from the west behind me over the hill, and that's kind of nice too. But here's what, like I say, here's what's interesting. See all these branches that are now growing straight up. The root bundle. Let me move, get a better shot. I don't know if this will be clear or not, but you can see that it's basically on its side. At some point it fell over, but it re-rooted or reset itself in some way. So it's still viable, I think, and so is this trunk. But there's a ton of crud in here. So this one, I believe, is dead. And that is a rather big piece that can get taken out. But if I cut it down right, it could be an interesting little piece along the border of the gravel bed as well. I didn't get you a very good shot. So right here, we're coming back around. Yeah, so this is a fallen trunk, and I think it's pretty dead. Not quite as dead as this one though. But what I'm saying is, this little level here, clearing out the crud but leaving some of the overhang, that could be a nice little shaded like patio area or something like that. Here's the mystery that I don't know that I'll be able to solve today, but has been fascinating me ever since I got the place. It's very possible that, let's see if we can get down in here. Okay, that's a little easier to see. Look at all these old bricks. So it's one of two things, well, one of maybe three things, and I don't know if I'm going to ever find out, really. It may be like a septic tank from 100 years ago. Or it could be where a septic tank from 100 years ago was, but was taken out when the city put in the sewer system, and the properties could no longer have septic tanks in town. At least that's my understanding. That would be great. If it's actually an empty hole that's just got a bunch of bricks in it, that would be great. If it's got an old sump pump, I guess, well, I suppose I can fill that in too. But it's either that or it's just a bog. Maybe there wasn't even a sump pump. Maybe in 1910 when this thing was platted, and this house may have been here 20, 30 years before that, for all I know. Maybe they didn't worry about the septic tank. I don't know. What I do think I could find out today, and that's what I'm going to try to do, is I'm pretty sure, I don't think this was, yeah, maybe this was where the toilet went, because that's a pretty big pipe for a water inlet. Almost certainly this is going to whatever passed for a septic or a sump back in the day. And I think because it is a little bit loose, let's see if I can, yeah, it moves a little bit. I think I can trench along the side of it to see if it's still connected to anything. And if it's not, that may give me hope that actually if there was a septic tank, it's been taken out. Well, this has gone on much longer than I anticipated, but giving you the walking tour of the lot here, that hopefully in a week or two is going to be leveled, going to have a framing of pressure treated lumber and a gravel bed where a shed can sit, a 12 by 24 shed can sit basically about right here. These may be used as fill-in too. Basically about right here, going back to that stone, that line of stones right there. 12 by 24. I like it. I hope we can work it out. And thanks for watching. And I hope that you've had a great Thanksgiving, and that you maybe even have some opinions about what I've got going on here, and might drop me a comment in the comment box, and even hit the like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. I'm not all the way there yet, but I'm definitely part of the way. And it's looking more and more likely, because you can, I don't know if you can tell that it's angling down. This is definitely headed for, presumably, a septic tank. What I'm hoping to find out is that it's been disconnected because the septic tank has been removed. I'm not sure why I'm worried about this that much, but I do like the idea of it not being there. I don't know if I'll find that out for sure today, but if this pipe eventually, I can twist it and it comes out, that'll be a very good result for me. At least in my opinion, because I don't really know. Just glad I get to try and do this. Okay, this has been, great fun and all, but when they come in to level this out, they're going to have a bobcat So they don't need me and my shovel to do this. But yeah, it looks like it's going to septic tank area, and it has not come loose, so it may still be connected to something. That is going to be very interesting to find out, actually. And a little bit of decent exercise. I mean, 7 years I've been looking at that exposed cutoff. Could have done this a long time ago, but we're doing it now. And in this blessed and grateful holiday season, maybe even think about sharing a video or two. Well, it's still dead end street, but it's not quite the street that I was expecting. Glad to be here. Glad you're here too. Thanks again.